We still needed a trip lead, someone to drive, manage logistics, and handle the equipment. The lead needed to be discreet, detail-oriented, trustworthy, and old enough to have car insurance, which is 25 in California. That person also had to be able to take 3 weeks off with little pay. Oh, and they had to be willing to keep what they were doing a secret from their family and friends. I spent weeks calling friends and asking if they knew anyone willing to spend 3 weeks of their summer on a special film project. I could find no one. I interviewed a few prospects by phone, but none were quite right. Some needed more money, others were not available during the dates we needed them, or were uncomfortable doing something they couldn't talk about. I was purposely vague with everyone I contacted. I did not share any details of what we planned to do, and did not even mention the undercover nature of the project. I knew that if I found a candidate I really liked, I would tell them a little more, gauge their interest, and then have them sign a non-disclosure agreement before sharing the details. I spent months studying Mark Crutcher's work, the work of other investigative journalists, and had even dabbled in private investigator training to learn techniques to use. I improvised as I went. I actually paced the patio in my parents' backyard as I made my calls. One person I called was Jonathan Keller, the trustworthy Fresno pro-life leader and mentor who would help me start live action in high school. When I explained what we were looking for, he did not hesitate to suggest likely candidates. Then, halfway through each suggestion, he would think of a reason that person wasn't right and stop himself. Oh, no, I forgot. They're getting married then. Or, actually, no, that won't work. I don't even know how pro-life they are. Is there anyone else at all you can think of? I asked. I don't think so, he said. I'm sorry. Later, a friend came by and was doing some of school homework at our kitchen table when I poured out my frustration. I don't know what to do, I fretted. We're supposed to leave for this trip in 5 days, and I still haven't found the trip lead. Don't worry, Lila, my friend assured me. It'll work out. Trust God. You're right, I said. If this project is supposed to happen, the pieces will fall into place. A few minutes later, my phone rang. It was Jonathan. Hey, I just thought of one more person, he said to me. As he described his friend, relief flooded over me. David Martin sounded like an answered prayer. Within hours, I was on the phone with David. And the next day, he drove several hours to my parents' house to meet me in person and work through the itinerary. We were ready to go, but not even our parents knew where we were going or what exactly we were doing. It is one thing to build a team. It is another to challenge them, to make that team work. A healthy team requires its members to appreciate what every other team member has to offer. Members need to appreciate their own talents while simultaneously having the humility to use those talents in service of the best interests of the team. They also need to be willing to have hard conversations when needed and to be accountable to one another. To work in harmony, team members have to resist the temptation to play to the crowd. Recognition and applause may stoke the ego, but they are never as satisfying as shared wins. But you can't have shared wins if you are possessive about the work you are doing and unwilling to invite other people into it. One of the hardest lessons I've learned again and again over the years is the power of delegation and shared responsibility. As leaders, we may sometimes think that we have to own both the problem and the solution ourselves. Now we have to work harder than anyone and prove ourselves worthy of leading by being the best. While it is important to set the example by working hard and striving every day for excellence, our jobs as leaders is not to prove to a team that we are the boss or the best, but to help our team improve so that we can all excel together. No one of us are the best at everything. That's impossible. We need each other and the unique gifts and strengths that others have, which are different from our own. Over the years, live action has recruited extremely talented writers, video producers, and researchers who shine in their unique creative expertise. Identifying our own weaknesses or challenges as leaders is also key, because it is precisely in the areas where we fall short that we can recruit others who shine. Live action could have never achieved all its impact over the years if I had tried to go it alone, or if I failed to tap into the great strengths of my team members and delegate huge portions of the work to them. I've worked with Lauren, live action's head of development, for more than 6 years, and she's helped sustain the dramatic growth of our organization's fundraising and team. Driven to become her best in personal management and health, Lauren's consistent patient management skills have been a crucial complement to my intense vision casting. Today, live action's life-saving work is the hard-won outcome of people, like Lauren, giving it their all. By doing the difficult daily work of figuring out how to understand one another, collaborate, and lean into our individual roles on our team, we can push forward to victory. One of the unique challenges for our Mona Lisa project was developing undercover personas. My persona was especially tricky since Planned Parenthood essentially put up a wanted poster after my California investigation, wanting staff to be on the lookout for yours truly. On a scouting visit to Planned Parenthood, one of our team members spotted the poster on a bulletin board behind the front desk with my picture on it and took it down when no one was looking. I laughed when I saw it. The poster included a screenshot of me from a TV interview and claimed I was last seen in Florida. In fact, I had never stepped foot in Florida, not even for Disney World. Plus, Florida's laws weren't very protective of investigative journalism, making undercover projects difficult. Wendy decided I needed a disguise, so I agreed to bleach my hair and wear glasses. At the beginning of the trip, we stopped at a CVS. We continued talking through our investigative scenarios as I sat for hours in our hotel room with bleach in my hair, but to no avail. The drugstore bleach wasn't strong enough, and the result was a greenish shade of light brown, not exactly the dramatic change needed for a successful disguise. Hoping for a better outcome, we headed to a hair salon in a nearby strip mall. While the rest of the team browsed the mall, I sat in a chair for 3 hours under the fluorescent salon lights, bleach burning my scalp. This time applied by a professional. She did a good job. Hours later, I was very blonde. Our team would be able to complete the next few weeks of investigative work undetected. The first stop on our 3-week itinerary was Cincinnati, Ohio. Once there, we settled into a local hotel to train for a few days before beginning our undercover work. We spent hours carefully reviewing the briefs we had made. We laid out all our undercover equipment on the floor and organized it carefully, charging batteries and sewing cameras into clothes and purses. We studied the facilities we would be investigating and practiced our undercover personas. We also talked about our fears or concerns and spent time troubleshooting scenarios of what might go wrong or conflicts we may have. Soon enough, all our work, all our planning and preparation would be put to the test.